Okay, good morning, all brothers and sisters from all over the world. It's a long time no see. I'm finally back in Hualien after going to Africa and to the various camps afterwards. I'm so sorry I've been missing for so long. Okay, but today we have many different people. Over here, I have never had this room so filled with people. So let's look around. Okay, we have our brothers and sisters from Africa, Zimbabwe and Mozambique over here, and also two masters accompanying us today. Let's wave our hands. Hello, everyone. Okay, thank you. We are so happy that we are meeting online every Saturday to share Dharma together. Every time we meet with Dharma. Okay, so I'll be sharing a little bit of Africa's story, a few of our brothers and sisters' story today. Some of the people that I met over there when I went to Africa in October. So I hope you see the PowerPoint. Okay, so let me begin. Okay, good. Okay, so the headquarters, together with a few staff, we have been and a few volunteers. We've been really privileged, and thanks to the compassion of our master, for giving us a chance to go to South Africa and Mozambique to be able to be there, to witness for ourselves, to experience for ourselves our brothers and sisters, our local volunteers over there in Africa, and truly is an amazing experience. My today's sharing is only just a tiny little bit of it. Next week, I hope I'm able to share a bit more on that. For today, I want to share a few of our brothers and sisters' story over there. First sister I want to share about is Sister Amelia. Sister Amelia is in Mozambique, and that time, the day when we went to her house, it was really very difficult to get to. It's a place that the GPS wouldn't be able to lead you there, okay? Because on the Google map, it's just one piece of blank, with no roads, no nothing. So we need the locals. In fact, one of the, in fact, Sister Amelia herself, to be on our car to bring us through the tall grasses and these roads that I'm sure if you go at night, you cannot see anything and you would definitely be lost. But it is such a place. We kind of got lost for about 30 minutes and then finally reached Sister Amelia's place. And actually, Sister Amelia is the very first seed of this community called Mahupo. And we now already have 300 over care families over there and 50 over volunteers over there. But this is her home, our very first seed in Mahupo community. This is her home, made with wood, kind of weaved together, and then with sand and soil to make it into the walls. This is the inside of her house, very simple, and this is her toilet. Such a very simple life, but let's see how diligent is she. She met Tzu Chi in 2014, and it was another Xie Li, a community leader of our Tzu Chi community in another in another place, in another area, another community that came to know of Sister Amelia and then invited her to come and participate. So from Sister Amelia herself, traveling very far to the community. Now, from her place, her house, coming out to the road to take bus, she needs to walk 2 hours. Let's take a look at this. Every morning, if she is going to our Tzu Chi's home or sort of Jingsi Hall in Mozambique to attend their weekly classes, she had to wake up 3 a.m. in the morning. 3 a.m. in the morning, and then begin her travel at 3:25, and from there she had to walk through darkness, and then until the sun rises, through the grasslands, fields, small puddles, and even she had to cross a river. In order to, after 2 hours and 90 minutes, reach the road, to actually see a tarred road, to be able to call a bus. And from there, she has to change 4 buses, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that takes another 2 hours in order to finally reach Tzu Chi's home. But of course, through this time, with all the waiting times for buses, you never waste that time. Still talk to any other people that you can meet along the way, to share about Tzu Chi, welcome them to follow her to Tzu Chi's home, to finally at the end reach Tzu Chi's home, in order to attend weekly classes in our Jingsi Hall. And mind you, she is there every single time, traveling 4 hours by foot and bus in order to get there. So such a diligent sister. There was once someone asked her, one of our care family asked her, why don't you just be a care family? Why don't you just be a care family and let Tzu Chi take care of you? I mean, Tzu Chi is a very nice organization. They give you all the things you need. They will come and sing songs for you. You don't have to really go through the trouble to become a volunteer and then serving and getting nothing in return. I mean, why the trouble? Why not just be a care family and let Tzu Chi take care of you? And you know what? Sister Amelia answered it this way. She said, materials will one day be used up, but the love and happiness we gain as volunteers will never be used up. So that's her, living in such a condition, but with such diligence that I think all of us should learn from. For us, maybe travel half an hour, 1 hour to our nearest community center. For her, it's 4 hours and 2 hours on foot. But yet, she is there every single week, seeking, so eager to learn the Dharma, and so happy to volunteer. She said also that Master has transformed her lives, our lives, and taught us unconditional love, putting other people first. Let me share with you, because for them, her life has been about how to survive. So it has always been thinking about the self, how to get the water they need, the food they need, and so it has always been herself. And every day is suffering to her. But now, because of Master's teaching, other people first. And we learn about respect, we learn about forgive, and that gave her a new direction in life. And she wished to share with more people so that they can also be happy and peace. I think such a vow is really unimaginable, so pure. In answering such a question, why not be a care family? She replied by saying that Master have gave her a direction in life that she chose to walk upon. One that is putting other people first. One that is with love and happiness, giving love and happiness to others. I think it's an answer that's really profound and amazing. That she never thought about her being poor or not at all. To her, she's someone that can help others. She's someone that's rich of love, that can give to others. So to her, she has many things. She can give smiles, she can give hugs, she can give a lot of things. And so she lives her life with a vow, with a direction, so strong. And let's reflect upon ourselves, living in our life that's more or less at ease. Are we many a time troubled with a lot of afflictions and worries, and seeking a career in life with more money and more success, sort of? But do we know our direction in life? Are we sure of what we are doing? Of course, brothers and sisters, we sitting here, we already found our direction. And many of us, our brothers and sisters from Malaysia or from Australia, they are newly commissioned. We have now chose our life. We have chose the direction that Master has given us. Master's mission is our mission. Buddha's heart is our heart. Let's not let that source of direction be forgotten. It always stay there. And so it is with this sister. She has led, and one by one, other sisters and brothers to travel. Just now I was saying that how she began her journey with Tzu Chi was from 2014. It was another sister from another location called Moselle, the Moselle community, that invited her to attend Tzu Chi. But this Moselle place from Mahubo is again 2 hours walking to the bus, and then take 2 buses in order to go to Moselle. And so ever since the very beginning, she has already been traveling like this to this other community to learn and do together, and then inviting one after another volunteers to travel also so far to learn together. And until now, from 2014 to now, just 4 years, she now has 52 volunteers, 312 care families over there in Mahubu communities to serve that local community. It was really, really amazing when when we and our Taiwanese volunteers, when we were there, we witnessed one of their rice distribution. Sorry, I took out the photos, but it was really amazing. Every care families, they are all very diligent, very disciplined, and they're so happy singing together. It's really amazing. And also we saw her granddaughter, 9 years old, very, 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 very diligent, very, very obedient. When we were there, she was already cooking the dinner, washing the bowl, the wok with sand and her hand, until it's very, very, it's already shining. And then after that, lighting up fires, taking the leaves, putting into this, I don't know how to call it, thing. How do you call it? Sorry again? Jump. That thing. Pound, okay, some powder. Okay, that thing. To make it into like powders, and then cook it. And all this is by this 9 years old daughter. It's so amazing. And I felt so ashamed because I couldn't even cook, but she can already done it, and so well. And that's their life over there. But something very intriguing that we all noticed is that why the kids don't smile. It was something that we found very interesting. The kids on the left are Sister Danny's children, but the kids on the right are that of our sisters. They don't smile, and when we were discussing this, why? And Sister Danny was sharing with us that actually, what is smiling? In your life, it has been such a life that is really difficult for them. For for Mozambique, they are only out of civil war for only these past 20 over years, for this very short period of time. So many of the people actually have experienced a war, and then after which grown up in such a time that is so difficult, trying to just to survive in a place. And when we are in Mozambique, we see that it's a country that's still developing, and it's actually, it has a lot of potential. It's really developing well, but only these 20 years, their life has been filled with difficulty, which is what the Buddha has been sharing with us, the Four Noble Truth. Um, Buddha shared with us that this is Four Noble Truth. First is suffering, that this world is one of suffering. And when I see this, I realize to realize that we are in suffering is actually something that is actually a blessing, to know that we are suffering. Because take for example, when we are angry, shouting at another person, um, do we realize that we are actually suffering? Or we think that we are doing something righteous, we need to scold this person is wrong, and so I'm doing a right thing to fight for things. And no, do we realize when this anger has already take control of all our emotion, our whole mind, do we realize that we are actually suffering? Sometimes we don't. When we have the greed coming out from our mind, wanting to buy all these things, seeking all the things, the good food, do we realize that we are suffering? Do we realize that we are already not in control of ourselves? We are already letting ourselves be controlled by our mind to go wherever it likes, by greed, by anger, by ignorance. We dislike these certain people, we like these certain people. All this, we are actually not in control. We are letting ourselves be pulled around. Do you realize that we are in suffering? So if we know that we are in suffering, it's already a blessing, because it's the first step to actually wanting to change, wanting to overcome suffering, to change into a life that is smiling. And then Buddha shared with us that why do we have suffering? It comes from accumulation. Accumulation, Qi, just like this morning's morning class. Master also shared about we all come with a lot of affinities, a lot of karma, and through. Okay. Throughout these eons and long time from our past life, we have accumulated with us a lot of karma, a lot of things that we have done, our thoughts, our habits, things that we like, things we dislike. Actually, all of this comes from accumulations or attachments, and it's accumulated. Things that we have done a lot of times. It accumulates into what we are today. All the karma, all the things we've done, it becomes what we are today. And that is also just like the lives of people in Africa. These past few years, they have been in such a life that that they have to fight for their survivals and so on and so forth. So in their heart, there's no happiness. There was no smiling, such a word. So you see, when I saw the granddaughter doing the chores, she's very fast, very diligent, very quick. But I never saw her smiling. Even when we gave her the chocolate, she eats it, but not happily. Not like other children when they get candy, they'll be very happy and they will eat very happily. But for her, she just very quickly eats it, and that's it. There's no happiness. And that is the life they have been, the accumulation from the past. It doesn't mean we have to live our life this way. As in, it doesn't mean that it will be this way all the time. And that is why it comes to the elimination part. How do we eliminate? It comes from this moment, begin to put into practice from our actions. We begin learning what is smiling. We begin to learn smiling. In fact, what Sister Danny shared with us is that she keeps sharing with the volunteers that remember to smile, remember to smile. When you have no emotion, you really look like very, look like you're angry. But when we smile, we are actually donating, we are giving this smile to others. So we begin practicing how to smile, begin practicing how to be joyful, begin practicing how to look at things in a positive way. I realized that happiness is not something that we get, when we go and get the things that we want. I realized happiness is something that we need to learn. We need to learn to become happy. We need to learn to face this life in happiness. And that's elimination, and then walking this path, and that's what Master is leading us on. And so she said that Sister Dennis shared that Master actually gave us a platform to give. And this platform of giving is not material. Every one of us can give. We can give hugs, we can give smiles, we can give joy, we can give good words and encouragement to others, we can give motivations to others, we can give clapping hands to people, we can use our body to do recycling, we can use our body to, to give with both hands. There's so many things we can do with this body that we have and the six senses that we have, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the ears. We can use all this to give happiness to others. And such a learning help our volunteers to do again and again and again and again. And now they learn how to smile and how to actually be happy. And we are actually all here to learn to be happy. And so that's why Master say we need to thank the people that we have helped, because they give us the chance to learn to be happy, to learn to give, to learn how to smile. Let me show you. Can we change our appearance? The answer is yes, because I'm sorry, Sister Maria Sila, I need to show you a photo again. I really like your story. This is Sister Tila in the past. She says she don't dare. She's here actually. Sister Tila over here. Now she say she don't dare to look at her photo before because she says it looks like a demon. but really, her life has been really difficult. Her parents passed away in the Civil War 20 over years ago. She has to live together with her brothers, and life has been very difficult. So again, these years of time, it has been accumulated in her, these pains. So now Master has given us the path, given us brothers and sisters the path. She began to learn to smile, and then every time, she say it's like this pains in her, this suffering in her, one bit by one bit, she take it out from her heart, put it on the ground, and then in this way, slowly, this is her now. Really nice and beautiful. Really, I see all the photos commissioned. It's really all very beautiful, smiling. So I think, Master always says the Tzu Chi's cream, that we put on our face is smiling, and smiling makes us beautiful. Okay, so no need to buy those very expensive creams anymore. Okay, just remember to bring with us to this cream and put it on every day when we wake up. Okay, and this smiling, and that is smiling. And they are taking photos of Sister Sila with her photos and with everyone together. Okay, but really, smiling is something that Master has given to us as a gift. And so it's like in the sutra, we saw that bodhisattvas and Buddhas, they have his beautiful appearances. The 32 are the beautiful appearances. So that the skin is is pure and clean, the eyes, the eyebrows, and so on and so forth. These descriptions is actually like this. When we cultivate goodness, we do the 10 good deeds in this world, it actually cultivates our appearance. While in the sutra, it would say something like, in our next life, we will gain good appearance in our next life. When we learn, for example, it was like the merits of sweeping the floor. When we sweep the floor, we gain 5 merits. I forgot the first 4, but I only know the last one is you will be beautiful. and indeed, we can really change our appearance when we learn to cultivate. And it's so different. It's really so different. And when our this appearance with a smile change, it can bring joy to others. So when Master say we cultivate good affinity with others, that is in this way, from our face itself, from our behaviors, from all the things we do, we can already bring happiness to others. We can bring trust to others. When people see us, they feel that this is a person that I can seek help from. This is a person that I can speak my sorrow with. So this commissioning, this uniform that we are given is really a gift, a merit that all brothers and sisters we have cultivated together. So that when we wear this uniform and go out, and when everyone sees us in this uniform, they will say, this is Tzu Chi people. They are good people. They are people that can seek help from. So we all gain this merit when we wear this uniform. It's not like we already done it, but this merit was given to us. And it is maintained by all brothers and sisters. When we go out and do good deeds, people will say, hey, this is a good person. This is Tzu Chi. They won't say, hey, this is Joe. Joe is doing good deeds. They won't know me, but they know Tzu Chi. And we are all maintaining this good appearance of Tzu Chi. Okay? And in that way, we actually pass down this merit to all the future brothers and sisters. They are going to be newly commissioned. This merit of this uniform, they are passing it down. Okay. So I think another very important concept that I learned from Sister Dennis and all our brothers and sisters in Africa is that don't be attached to the appearance of suffering. You don't have to think that I'm poor, that I'm suffering, that I'm in pain, and so I have to be crying, I have to do this, I have to do that. Actually, don't be attached to the appearance of suffering. So then it says, when she went to visit all our volunteers, when she sees that their homes are like this, she chose not to pity them. She chose not to feel. She chose not to feel sad. But on the other hand, we should choose to still be happy and see them as it is. It is the affinity that they have gathered in their life. No need to be sad for them. No need to be pity to them. What we need is to be happy, to bring happiness to them, to realize, to let all brothers and sisters to begin taking up the first step to also be happy that we are all ordinary beings. Our lives are all the same. We all come with our karmas, our different backgrounds. We're all here to learn how to change our affinities, how to be happy, how to bring everyone else to be happy. So don't be attached to the periods of suffering. There's no need to suffer. We can choose to be happy. It's our choice. Okay? Don't make ourselves trapped in sorrow and discontent. We don't have to trap ourselves. It's our own choice. Okay? So I think this idea helped me to answer. It helped me when I look at this Q&A. By the way, I explained to our Africa brothers and sisters every Saturday when doing our sharings, we will have questions posted by our brothers and sisters from all over the world. They will gather them and they will pose these questions to us, and then we will discuss with the masters and give answers. So this was a question by one of our brothers and sisters from somewhere, and she says, I think this scenario we might all have met before. They go something like this. Sometimes we hear things we don't like, and the heart can't remain still and calm. Now, how do we overcome this? Now, actually, sometimes we just don't like the behavior of certain people. Especially when they keep talking and talking and talking and talking. It's like I don't want to hear you, but you keep talking. It's just I cannot ask you to go away, but you still keep talking. It's like people that we don't like, and they are doing the things that make us feel irritated, and we can't control and avoid this certain person that we don't like. Maybe because she's at work. She sits right beside us, so we cannot tell them to no go see someone else. We can't, and no that we it's not. She said explain that it's not that we hate the person, but it's just the way they behave just make us feel very irritated. They try very many ways to overcome this, but it really doesn't work. So she asked how to ignore close our ears and don't listen to the person, or how to know how to face this kind of situation. What do you think? To us, what I thought was somewhere out there in the world, we have people trying to learn how to smile. And here we are worried about being irritated by someone else. Actually, it is our choice whether we are to be irritated by the person or not. It is our choice. The situation and condition that we are in, we cannot control. Yes, definitely. We can ask the person to go. In the same way, we cannot choose where we actually live. The livelihood of those people in Africa, our brothers and sisters in Africa. This is their life. It was really like this. They cannot change it immediately. But can they change how they face this situation? Can they change and choose to be happy? They can. And that is our choice. We may not be able to change the surrounding, but we can change ourselves. We can change how we choose to face this situation. Say for example, sorry, I think I don't have time for example, but we have a choice. Okay, so don't give up. Continue to find ways, and in our heart, give blessings to this person that we dislike. Give blessings to this person that we hate, that we just don't like to be with. Give blessing to this person, and then think for ourselves: is there any way we can help this person? Is there any way I can do? Is there anything we can do for this person? Think of giving to this person, and then slowly you realize that something has changed in us. That person may not have changed, but we have changed, and suddenly our view of this world will be very different. So continue to practice. It will take some time. For me, I've met such a situation before. It takes me half a year to always practice. When I meet that person, I really doesn't really like. I would try to he's coming here. I would want to go somewhere else. But every time I meet that kind of situation, I force myself to smile at the person, to let go of all these irritating thoughts in me, and try to smile at the person, thinking of that person as someone normal, someone that I'm friend with, and then slowly when I practice that, suddenly after half a year, it becomes normal already, and then it's as if nothing has happened, and we become friends already again, and really it's really amazing. So continue to practice, and I really hope you will overcome these affinity and use good accumulate good karma with everyone around us. Okay, so thank you so much for the sharing. I'll end today here. Obrigado. Thank you. So now, Sister Tzu Chi, shall we pass the mic back to you? Yes, I can hear loud and clear.
All right, apologies. It's my first time sharing, and I'm very grateful that I'm asked and requested to share. what I'm going to talk about is a CBI. It's a cash-based intervention project which Tzu Chi undertake. We collaborated with UNHCR, specifically to provide assistance to refugees in Malaysia. So what does this project do? Basically, it's to provide a short-term cash assistance to the most vulnerable refugees. As we all know, refugees are people who are driven away from their homeland. They went through a lot of pain and suffering. We have seen the Syrians, but in Malaysia, mostly are the Myanmar, Somalians, Pakistans. And stories are pretty identical due to political, could be political, could be religion, disharmony. They attack and they have to leave. Yeah. So so quick statistics. UNHCR actually told us they have registered 150,000 refugees, and that's registered. Yeah, with they have their IDs. The unregistered is a couple of times this number. Yeah, and each year round, Tzu Chi Malaysia managed to visit probably less than 1% of this number. Yeah. So what I'm going to share is a story which Sister Tzu Ching finds very touching. I'll share this story and I'll talk about slightly about the Dharma behind it. So this is a story of a one particular refugee from my team. Sorry, doesn't. Okay, I'll try to speak louder. So I'll share one case here. From my team conducted probably 7 months ago, but it just ended recently. So this refugee will just remain him as anonymous. We call him the POC, person of concern. So this person of concern, he's from Myanmar. He's a young man in his early 20s, probably 23, 24 years old. And he went through a lot of pain and suffering. So his story started like this. In Myanmar, we know about the war. So that day, he said the groups of military came into their village. They sexually assaulted a lot of women. They burned their houses down, and they even throw the newborns, the babies, into the fire. When he said that, of course, that flashed back into my mind that this is just very wrong. No one would ever want to do that. And it actually happened in this world. Yeah, people still just throw babies into fire, burn houses down. So this refugee told me that to leave the country is a must. Yeah, I have to do everything I can to get out of the country. It's just too painful. So he came to Malaysia. So how did he do that? First, he have to find the agent, pay 6,000 ringgit. 6,000 ringgit would be around 1,500 USD. Paid that agent, and then he get on board the ship, and he came to Thailand first. So in Thailand, he will be passed to another agent, whereby this agent will try to bring them, smuggle them into the borders of northern Malaysia. So throughout this journey, if they are unlucky, they will be caught. Some will be sold to the slavery part, and they have to spend 1 or 2 years of their lives doing slavery work. Some might be put to jail. The lucky ones that made it to the other side of the second agent. Usually there are stories that this second agent will stop them and ask them, just play with them that no, you have not paid your 6,000 ringgit yet, and you have to pay me, or else I'm not gonna carry you over to the other side of the world. Yeah. So some of unfortunates, they have to pay twice that amount, which is 12,000 ringgit, and then that's a lot of money. that could be like a couple of trips to Hualien from Malaysia, and that is a big amount for refugees from Myanmar. So in that second part of the journey, they were put into a four-wheel drive vehicle, a Hilux, because it's going to travel into the forest, yeah, and the whole journey will take like close to 8-10 hours. And what's concerning is and what's painful to hear and watch is I mean, just to hear, you have to hear from him that in order to be efficient, so-called, the agent wants everything to be efficient, they have to fit in close to 16 people, 16 refugees in this Hilux vehicle. So how did they do that? Basically stacks of 4 people on the left seat, and then the middle seat stacks of 4 people, 4, and then the front seat 4 people, and then plus a driver. And of course, because this is like a smuggle process, they have to shut down their windows. So it's just very congested. There's no air, and according to the POC, the person of concern, people died throughout the journey because it's 8 to 10 hours journey. Many died. Some vomit, went through a lot of medical problems. Some excrete along the way, and then they just have to bear with it because you have to stay in that position for 8 to 10 hours. And once again, running to Malaysia is a must. So according to him, yeah, because it's like a safe haven for them, either to Malaysia, either to Bangladesh, many other parts of the world, but Malaysia is one of their destination. And so yeah, the story is not finished yet. When they reach the northern borders of Malaysia, they are given a few choices. Yeah, they could either go to Penang, they could go to Kuantan. There's also KL, a lot of opportunities to work. There's also Johor. So this refugee, he chose Kuantan because there's a plantation job opportunity for him. He was there. So here's where the troubles begin. He was there working for close to a year or two, and then one day while he was up the coconut tree to pluck some coconuts, he fell down from that height of 3-4 meters. So he landed on his back. Yeah. So when he landed on his back, he damaged his spinal cord. Yeah, and that's it for the 4 years old guy. Yeah. He's paralyzed from bottom down, and he cannot do any work anymore. Yeah. And lucky for him, he has one cousin who stays in KL. Also went through this similar journey from Myanmar to Malaysia. So this cousin is kind-hearted enough to look after this POC, but their living condition is also very unbearable. When our team go there on the first trip, they are living in a house in one undeveloped or probably an abandoned construction area, and there's like a few houses just in that place. Yeah, and it's really eerie to watch. Yeah, it's like a ghost movie. Yeah. But that's their living conditions. They have to find the cheapest place. Yeah, it's probably dangerous, and once we brought the doctor there, the doctor even complained that, oh, it's so dangerous, it might fall anytime. Yeah. And just to highlight their living conditions, very unhygienic because they're poor. But this cousin of this refugee is just he has a golden heart. Yeah, and we always praise him for that. Yeah, just give him some comfort. And the story continues. So one of the refugees' main problem is of course a financial problem. For this to repair his backbone, that would be I think close to 20,000 ringgit, Malaysia. And he went to a few hospitals. He got a quotation. And lucky for him, there is a insurance company that can sponsor. Yeah. sponsor his treatment. But he missed the appointment date, yeah, and that's also very unfortunate. I don't know why he would miss the appointment date, and then because it's a public hospital, they have to wait for another 4 months. It's a long queue, and then another trouble began. The cousin, who is the sole only caretaker for this POC, he has to move out from KL because he has got a job. His employer asked him to go to Kuantan. Yeah, this time to Kuantan. There's a new construction project that requires his help, so he has to leave KL. And if he has to leave KL, then there would be no one to look after this refugee. Yeah, so that's where Tzu Chi and the team they have take the extra effort to find ways, yeah, to help this POC, because there's no one else to help him. Yeah, you cannot leave him there alone. Yeah, and you cannot even send him back to Myanmar, of course. Yeah. So we managed to collaborate with one Christian society. It's ACTS, Call to Serve. So this society, they actually have a shelter for refugees, yeah, specifically for Myanmar people. It's very far away from the town. So after discussing with them, yeah, they agreed to take in this refugee. And of course, we send the good news to this refugee. He's just very happy, yeah, because he can continue to move on with his life. He can go to Kuantan and work, yeah. So we brought this POC and the cousin, yeah. We drove all the way. It's 1 hour's drive plus. Then in that place, when he first see that place, you can see the smile, the smile of a refugee, a very bright smile. He's pretty content and satisfied. Yeah, the place is clean, well managed. It's cleaner than his own house. They have a French nurse. There's a nurse to attend to. There are doctors coming in twice a week just to give them treatment, check on them, and he's just very happy. Yeah, and here's the last part of the story is that. After finishing up, tidying up everything, and we have to leave him there. So the POC is now at the shelter, and his cousin will be following us back. We'll be sending the cousin back home. So on the way back home, we dropped by a nearby food stall for dinner. So his cousin actually treated us a meal. Yeah. So this is the first time a refugee treated us a meal, and we were very we are just out of words. Yeah, of course initially I wouldn't allow that, because a person who have a financial crisis problem, yeah, shouldn't allow them to do this. Yeah, and of course the cousin insisted that he wants to pay for this meal. Yeah. And of course, I turned to my senior brother and asked him, "Hey, do something, do something." And he said, "Just let it go, yeah, let him." and immediately something flashed in my mind, because Master Chen have probably mentioned quite a couple of times that during the Buddha's time, there are many, probably a few disciples, great disciples, who actually take alms from the poorest. They don't really go for the easy ones. They go for the most difficult ones, the poorest, and because from the poorer they are, or the poorest, if they manage to give something out, that's already a very significant part of their life that they're giving out. Yeah. So for that meal, so I think, okay, it's good to let them pay for us, and yeah, he actually gladly paid, and we are very grateful, and we felt very touched with that. Yeah, and from this we can actually can see that deep down in everyone, they actually have this nature of compassion, yeah, or people like to call, or we all call it the Buddha nature, yeah. And yeah, that's it for the story. very time conscious. Probably I'll just share a bit more. So if we are to analyze on this, on the refugees, from the perspective of the 5 skandhas, just probably I want to highlight Rupa and the 7th consciousness. If we are to look at form, all in charity works, what we are providing is, from the very basic, is the form of form. Basically, we provide them cash assistance, we provide them food, like in this case, shelter. But yes, we give them everything we could, but that's not the end of the story, because we are all Buddhists. We know deep down that it's much more than that. If we are not cautious in guarding our external 5 senses, the eyes that should see the right thing, the mouth that speaks the truth, or it's the correct thing, then we could, if we don't do that, we are not cautiously guarding it, then our 5 senses, this simple 5 senses will drag us into, we all know which realm that is, and to look at refugees, they are actually very, very exposed to all of this. They don't know. They I mean, in order to survive, they have to do what it takes to survive. We have cases who whereby the single mom have to go into prostitution just to feed the kids. There are many cases out there. Probably I can ask some volunteers to share. But from this skandhas, we can analyze that it's very far from job done. Sometimes we say we can provide everything we could, but that's much deeper than that. And of course, if refugees and every one of us manage to silence our 5 senses, guard it well, there's always the 7th consciousness, samskara, the mental intentions, because you see, throughout my few years in Tzu Chi, even in Tzu Chi, we can see, we know volunteers who hated governments, who wants to be vengeful against the government. I even came across volunteers who wants to hurt his own family members. It's all in their mental, although they're doing good deeds, but deep down in the mental, it's still not purified. So if within this sanctuary of Tzu Chi, there's already such mental thinking, mental intentions, then what about the refugees out there who have seen military coming in, destroying your house, throw your babies into the fire? They all have this deep-rooted hatred, anger in them, and that requires a lot of purification work to do. And so what I can see is that, although sometimes we felt very touched, it's just simple gestures of giving, it's still a lot of work to do. And all I think is that what we can do is just, we try to overwhelm them with loving kindness. We provide care and all this assistance, and hopefully that will plant a seed in their 8th consciousness. Plant a seed, let it grow, and probably, who knows, in lives to come, they'll become someone different, when the seeds grow, and of course, conscious of time, I would also like to take this opportunity to of course thank the team that contributed, and of course with Sister Tzu Chi's permission, I would like to invite all brothers and sisters for 2019's this CDI mobilization. Sister Tzu Chi is part of the coordinator, and also part of the coordinator team, and it will be grateful to have everyone's participation, because this is quite an interesting journey. It's like journeying to the hell realms every month. Journeying into the hell realms. Sometimes we just cannot help them. Their troubles is just too deep rooted. But then again, because it's journeying into the hell realm. And then we do what we can. I think that's all I have to share. Don't have much time as well. Okay. Back to you, Sister Tzu Chi.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear the voice?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. First of all, thank you for everyone to attending this sharing section. Actually, through Brother Yuping and Brother Death sharing, actually is so it's a sadden me that I feel for them that because those stories that they shared just now, which is not far from we accumulate the suffering, and actually we are. Have you ever thought that why we are born into this world? I think everyone have the value to have a life. So so happy that now at the abroad we have at least 4 countries volunteers who are put together and to share, to listen to sharing, and to listen what's suffering. Especially Buddhists mentioned that we have 3 major calamities, which is caused by the 4 natural elements of imbalance, which is like, and we also have 3 minor calamities, which is like just now our brother Dev say, the Myanmar, the refugee because of the civil war, or maybe because of starving, like in maybe in all around the world they have people still hungry, not for food and not enough nutrition. But so lucky that we have a group of volunteers, especially they are come from Africa, and so they are so rich. Master say, Master actually dimension for those who are wealthy and willing to give, they can create boundless merits and become the richest of the rich. Because even though they are poor in the material, but they are rich in the heart. So they are considered the richest of the rich, 富中之富. Just like our African volunteers who are now in the board, who just received the certification from master as a commissioner. And I think maybe I would like to give some chance for them to share their Dharma joy. And because is someone want to share? Or maybe can sing a song. Actually, as I remember, for last year, they've been sharing the Africa song. The meaning is that, my master, please hold my hand so that I won't get burned in the fire. I think it's in Mozambique. They've been have the firehouse. Like, is it you have the song? Please, because they have listened. If I leave this organization, who will preach to me? This is I get from the Light of Wisdom from Master last year sharing. So this is the American song. Is it, my master, please hold my hand so I won't get burned in the fire? Is it you have such song? I remember that I get it from.
Ready? 1, 2.
Master Cheng, Maitiki, Iwala Mabu Wenianala. Master Maitiki, Iwala Mabu Wenianala. Loboi Kwelanga, Masaitiki. Logoi etako masai naitiki. Logoi nateka masai kombindela. Indesa kulanza kaswe. Masa naitiki. Iwela mabo weni yanala. Master Maitiki, Iwela Mabu Wenianala. Lagoi Kwelanta Masai Komi, Lagoi Etanta Manonga Itiki, Lagoi Lateka, Isai Bombindela. Masa naitiki, Iwela Mabu Wenianala. Masa naitiki, Iwela Mabu Wenianala. Lagoi Kelanga Masai Komi, Lagoi Etako Maitiki, Lagoi Lateka Masai Bobindela. Yeshaku Santaka Wena. Oh my goodness, so beautiful.